a post of 352. The scratches, scratch 1, Frankie Knows Best, part of an entry. Scratch the 3, Maze Loved Laffy. 6, Knowing You. Scratch the 7, Burnt Again. And the 8, Pausiloquent. Scratch 1, 3, 6, 7, and 8. The 11 is £1 over. Main track, sloppy and sealed. Pick 6 carryover of more than $24,000. We'll come back at 11:50 to reprise the changes. First race post is at 12:20. Up next, the Friday edition of Talking Horses with Maggie Wolfendale and Anthony Stabile.
We're getting off to a flying start here on Talking Horses. Welcome to the program. I'm Maggie Wolfendale alongside Anthony Stabile, who doesn't always wear his mic, but when he does, you better listen.
Wow. Hello, Bus. Let me just shove you right under it. Yes, the microphone was not. I don't think I need it in here, do I? I mean, got a couple of camera guys, but we're all alone in here. I don't think I need the echo's pretty good. Johnny I with the big intro today.
He's
fired
revving
up.
his engines. I like it.
He forgot Magony. I told him about Magony. He just didn't.
That's not a Johnny I thing.
I know it's not.
He has
It's
his
our
own
thing. I got it.
catchphrases.
I know. He does have his own thing. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about him in a little while.
Yes, we will, especially that second race coming up. But we do have a 9-race card on tap for you today for this Friday afternoon. Yes. If you've looked outside your window, it is not nice out, and it has not been for the past 12 hours, I'd say, if not more.
More than that,
So we have a sloppy, sealed racetrack for today's races. I really don't foresee any drying out conditions today. I think
No,
we're
there'll be
gonna
zero drying
sloppy
out
and
today,
sealed.
folks. It'll be sloppy and sealed throughout the afternoon.
But we do have a pick 6 carryover among a few other things and orders of business that we need to get to. As always, if you want to play today's races, make sure you do so with your Naira Bets account. As always, use promo code MATCH200 to earn that $200 deposit match bonus for new members. Check out NairaBets.com. Also, as I mentioned, the pick 6 carryover of a little over $24,000 does begin in race number 4 today on this 9-race card. Also, the middle pick 4 as well. Anthony, you're the expert. Starts in race number
3 returns today. Not on. We don't have them on 8 race cars, but we'll have them all week. A couple of 10 race cars coming your way.
Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday
Yep.
to wrap things up here.
Good stuff. As also we offer that trifecta bonus, 10% on all winning tickets Fridays here at the Big A. Make sure you opt in at NairaBets.com. And if
That's
you
my
want,
line.
sorry, do you want to hit it?
Opt in.
Opt in.
My microphone's on too.
It's always good to have. And you can also see Anthony and hear Anthony with his microphone on, hopefully, on America's Day at the Races today. FS2 coverage beginning at 2:30. We're on until 5:30. We do have accelerated post times today, but we are on as well with Oaklawn Park and doing some racing there from Hot Springs, Arkansas. So Big A, like I mentioned, we do have those accelerated post times. It looks as though they've moved up around 5, 6, 7 minutes throughout the day.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes per race. It looks like. I think we're getting out of here about 20 minutes early today.
Got it. So still, though, first race at 12:20 p.m. and it kicks off with a maiden special weight going the 6 furlongs. Really fun race. I know it's only 6 horses in here, but I thought a really interesting race to kind of dive into some of these pedigrees and watch races first time out. You are against the horse that I feel kind of strongly about. Maybe it's a weak race. It very well could be. But the November 6th effort in which we saw Logan Required as well as Cool Kathmandu. Let's start by talking about these horses. Cool Kathmandu broke with his feet underneath of him running for Charlie Baker and Dylan Davis first time out.
Yeah, I thought he ran okay. I just feel like the race came back a little too slow for my liking. Son of Frosted out of Wagelia mare. It's going to get a very sloppy track. I don't know, there's no such thing as you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. It's sloppy or it's not. That's a sloppy track out there today.
Dave Grenning did a great write-up with regards to our very wet racetrack today. And Cool Kathmandu, his dam won 4 races on wet tracks with a median margin of over 7.5.
Wow.
Lengths.
All
Thank
right.
you, Dave Grenning.
Wow. All right. Well,
And 2, Charlie Baker has excellent stats with his second time starting dirt sprinters. He's 14 for 63, 22%. That's for me. Maiden special weight runners, he's hitting at 29%, 9 for 31. So it's even better. I thought this horse, I like the speed he showed. Now he draws outside. He took all kinds of pressure from the inside. It was a great learning experience, and I think he actually has an easier time of it considering his post position today. We'll also see Logan Required, who obviously handled a wet track in his debut, but he was disqualified that day. But you're going with the horse that has the fastest races coming in here. And no disrespect to Clubhouse. He was a part of a pace that Litigate was able to capitalize on. But Index Fun, who was the favorite, was able to outfinish him. And the numbers don't lie. I agree. It was his fastest number. Maybe he should have been running on the dirt this whole time, but I don't know. I just thought there were some more interesting options in here than just copping out and taking Clubhouse.
that's okay. So far, you've thrown me under the bus and told me I was copping out. So
He's 6 to 5.
it's all right. So you know what it is, Andy? I thought that this horse was going to really like. This horse is bred to really like a wet track, and I don't
When are you
disagree.
going to stop with the wet tracks? I'm kidding.
That was perfect. That was a really good 30 seconds. That was a good 30 seconds. I obviously miss Andy, which is just insanity. I do think this horse was running on the wrong surface. I think he kind of proved that last time because I know it's only a two points higher fig than the start before, but I think he ran exponentially better than he did in any of his turf races. I really do. And sometimes these guys, even Hall of Famers like Todd Pletcher, make mistakes. Spikes down out of a tapping mare, like I said, you like a wet track. And to me, it was just simply, this horse ran the fastest dirt race on the Beyer scale by so many points. And I'm not somebody that always relies on that, but
And it is only a second start on the dirt. Todd Pletcher. And to be fair to him, he's never been favored. I mean, the shortest price what he's been is 5.5 to 1. So, yeah, there's every reason to believe he can win. And look, I have him second. I'm not totally against him. I just thought Cool Kathmandu was just really interesting given the Charlie Baker stats, the pedigree with the wet track, the fact he showed speed, and now he draws outside.
it's a Charlie Brown timing, yeah.
It is.
By the way, full disclosure, there is a huge push on Bobby Robato's horse.
I
in
mean,
here.
look at the workouts.
I don't know if David made this horse 2-1 second choice on the morning line because of that, but there is a huge push.
Absolutely. He's by Gun Runner. The Dam was a multiple graded stakes winner at like a middle distance on the dirt. Now, this is her first foal to run, but, Bobby Robato, while he doesn't send out that many firsters, he is 2 for 10, so 20% with his first time starter sprinting on the dirt over the past 5 years. Look, the
Was that
workouts
tweaked?
say, huh?
That was tweaked, right? I think it was
God.
tweaked.
I think you're right.
Yeah, last winter.
She did.
Yeah, it was tweaked. Trevor McCarthy. So there you go. I have 1 for 6
thought
in
she
the
was
last
3,
2
though.
years. You may be right.
Okay. Yeah, 2 to 1. I mean, that's a short price. She's 7 to 2 as of
Javier
now.
Castellano. There's a lot of things pointing to the fact that this horse can run.
All right, race number 2, claiming 32 for the fillies and mares. And, of course, this is our kind of farewell to John Embrial race, where a lot of us, hopefully, will be gathering down in the winner's circle to honor Johnny I and everything that he's done for the New York Racing Association.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, without getting too emotional, I can't say enough about what he's done for me. I mean, he's literally helped make my dream come true. And maybe not to that extent for a lot of people around here, but all he wants to do is help you
Yeah.
be better. And that's something to say in any industry. Where you just go to work and you know you can rely on him day in and day out for over 40 years. He's been here, you know. What do they say? Snow, sleet, rain, dead of night.
Yeah.
He's literally here. So.
Yeah. And he'll be joining you tomorrow on Talking Horses,
He will.
which will be very
I'm
fun.
looking forward to that.
And so Sunday will mark his kind of last full-time day or completion of this year. We will have Chris Griffin in the booth. You'll be, I'm sure, subbing in here and there as well. But Johnny will be back in the springtime when we switch over to Belmont Park and for the remainder of the Belmont Park meetings for
For the foreseeable future. He'll be at Belmont. We're coming back to Aqueduct after Saratoga next year. So Belmont at the Big A meet. He'll be here for that. So he'll call the Belmont dates. And I will be upstairs for his race today. And I cannot imagine in my career, which hopefully is long, I will ever have a bigger honor in my life than being able to call this race today.
Yeah, we'll miss Johnny, but wishing him the best in retirement. As this race, for me, Anthony, it kind of. We did lose Blue Paint, who I thought was a legitimate player. The Cantomasis choose to keep Chasen Bryn in here, and we both land on the same filly, and that's Mon Petit Chou, who, last time
I say that like shoe? Mon Petit Chou?
Mon Petit Chou?
Thank you. I'm asking you.
Oh my gosh, I'm the worst at foreign languages.
Lucky I could speak English. You want me to speak French?
We should ask Acacia. I mean, at
Okay.
the end of the day, but I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
So she was checked kind of slightly after the break, and it put her back a little bit further than I think she ultimately wants to be. Now she's going to have to do it from the inside, but I thought her effort last time out against, some decent horses, I think she might meet a little lesser here today, puts her right in the mix. So without that trouble, I think she was probably making it even closer on Happy Sophia in the last time out.
Yeah, I agree. She probably needed that race off almost 3 months as well. I know it certainly appears on paper that they were reluctant to drop her. Right? They kind of just really they finally got, grinned and batted and dropped her in last time.
She has good form prior to that. She's faced better horses.
This is where she belongs.
Yeah.
This is where she belongs. She's not, and I know the fear, especially with fillies, is, well, if they develop a little bit older and you see what
But look, she's by the big beast.
Yeah, there's
it's not like she's
nothing-
into Mischief or Medaglia d'Oro or
Right.
something like that.
She's a Florida-bred daughter of the big beast. It's time to
Yeah.
run her where she belongs. And like you said, this is not the toughest bunch of 32 she's going to find. She's supposed to win today. I mean, it's that simple. Now, maybe the wet track throws a little monkey wrench into those plans, but she has a win over a wet track. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I think she's the best filly in here, and I think she's supposed to get the job done.
Now, I mean, we see Suspended Campaign as well. Neither of us really thrilled with her, but she does take a bit of a drop in class. It could help her chances. But like you said, I think I didn't mind Sweet Mia. I just thought she got a little tired coming off the bench, and she was in a good spot, put there by Maddie Oliver. But I just thought she got tired. So you went with Chasen Bryn, though, who, I mean, last time out it was a sealed track, and she looked to not be handling it at all.
It's a worry.
But she's handled a wet track in the past, so I didn't know really what to make of that.
The last time she was in for this level, she was in a muddy over a muddy track, and she won. Last time she was in for a tag, so I thought it was a little simple in here, but
Mon Petit Chou.
Mon Petit Chou.
Race number 3, starter allowance, 6 furlongs, and we will take do we have a replay in here?
We're all over the place in here, you and I, huh?
C's get degrees. Let's talk about him first, Anthony, because you are way against him by the looks of things. This guy's coming in here with some good form.
He
This
is.
is Chuback.
He's going to have to face some speed in here, though. And I think out of sight might be a little bit faster. We'll see if Maddie Oliver puts him on the front end. I didn't know what to do with this horse. Coming in from a high-profile barn, Jonathan Wong. Coming in off that Kentucky form. This horse has won at Del Mar as well. I did not know what to do with him. This could be a big swing, or this could be a big whiff. I
Now,
understand that.
last time out, it was a contested pace, which he was unable to get to. So Raylo Gutierrez actually took him back, sat back off of it, made a run, and of the horses that were forwardly placed, he finished best of all. Mumayez came from way back to just pick them all up, rolling down the middle of the racetrack, and he was only beaten ahead by that horse. So I'm under the impression that this guy actually can sit off of it if other speed does choose to go in here, and he's drawn to the outside of them, which I think makes him preferable and very dangerous. Now, you went to number 6, Holy Matrimony. I don't get it.
I just feel like he's kind of rounding back into form off of that 3.5 years. And he's run into 2 buzzsaws. Digital Future won by 5, Patient Capital won by 7. And I thought he's run well enough, and it took 2 big efforts at the level to beat him. So I'm wondering if, and you know what the funny thing is? It could be that C's Gets Degrees is the one to run the big effort to beat him today. But he's always around, he's usually a square price. He was a square price in his last 2 here. I thought he ran well enough where if he continues to improve, and I'm not saying the Holy Matrimony that went to the bench back in the spring of 2019. God, what I wish I could go back to the spring of 2019. If he's rounding into form with those races, he's going to crush these horses. I'm not saying he's going to do that. But I think if he keeps making gradual improvement, a little more improvement puts him right there with this bunch, and he's going to be 5-6 to 1.
I just feel like with horses that are capable of coming back off of 3-year layoffs and getting the win, as he did 3 starts back, there's obviously several reasons and issues. And previous owners, I know, they do right by their horses. They give them the time that they need. So he probably got even more time than what he actually needed to get over those problems. But I always feel like there's an expiration date on these horses. Last time he took a while to switch leads. He did so. And he ran on once he did so. And Maddie, still kind of learning all the nuances of getting horses to switch and, getting them to propel off those leads and ask them. And he gets Dylan Davis today. So maybe we do see an improved effort. I don't know. I cannot trust him at all in this spot. And I kind of, I thought about taking Out of Sight in here because I loved him in the paddock. He's big, good-looking horse, and he tried really hard. I mean, he got headed, and he just, with the layoff in mind, just got tired in the end. I don't know if there's another move forward. He takes the weight off today. I'm putting Maddie on. So there's that. I just honestly, I thought, as you mentioned, things could heat up.
Yeah.
And I went to Cousin Andrew. He was slow away. He tried to run on between horses last time, and he just didn't look totally comfortable in between horses. He's this big type of horse where, too, he's a little bit on the heavier side, and I just thought coming in off of, that layoff that he needed that last race, and he's a horse that has always been kind of competitive at this level, and the fact that he was in that 35 claimer and Linda doesn't scratch him and keeps him in this starter allowance, I thought spoke of her confidence.
Yeah, he got a chance. I think upper levels, 2 dirt races are good enough to win here.
Oh, you want to know an interesting stat, though? As much as I love Tally, horses claimed from Jimmy Jerkins 0 for 19.
Wow.
The past 5 years.
Yeah, it's tough. He's tough to claim off of.
Race number 4 coming up.
Pick 6 carryover.
Yep, pick 6 begins here. Nearly 25,000 in the kitty to start the day as we're going the 6.5 furlongs and
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's correct. Make that noise
This is
again.
a woofie.
Make that noise. Make the woofie again.
We both went to Musical America. He's just been facing better, right?
My original picks in this race was 6, 5, 7, 4, and as I was writing them down, my hand was trembling, because I couldn't believe I had to pick some of the horses I picked in here. And then I went back and I said, this horse has races somewhere in his memory that would lap this field. And, maybe this horse just finds his speed again today.
And we've seen it with Eduardo Jones, when he drops the horses into the spots they belong.
They run well.
They tend to deliver, and they tend to do it at bigger prices. I don't know how much of a price you get on Musical America, but they just often are overlooked.
Right. He's 4 to 1 on the morning line. He'll probably be around that. And again, he ran this horse for 10,000. Again, talking about running into a buzzsaw. He ran into Silly Key that day. Silly Key was like 2 to 5 that
Right.
afternoon.
It was a tougher 10. Yeah.
top to bottom vintage. Hollywood was in there. I mean, and now he's
Absolutely.
running. I mean, I crossed almost everybody off in here.
So
I went to go back to back, by the way. If I kept my original picks, I would have picked a horse that went off a 3.5-year layoff and a horse that was racing off a 1.5-year layoff in back-to-back races here today.
that would be pretty ambitious, to say the least.
Well, you have those second too, right? I mean, Cavaradossi, if he comes back to his
and then
races.
too, I actually moved him up because looking at Chris Engelhardt's numbers with horses, I punched in a 9+ month layoff. Just to kind of cover some bases. Dirt sprints, he's 11 for 41, 27%. And I mean, that's good enough to feel confident about a horse who has the credentials to be a major player in here.
Yeah. I mean, and there is not much else in here. First,
I mean, because what are you going
deputy.
to do with First Deputy? He feels like a horse that, that state bred race up at Finger Lakes did include some decent horses in it. But isn't he better going longer?
And do you want to take a horse like First Deputy as the favorite?
No.
I mean, he's going to be the favorite in here. David has him 5-2 on the morning line. I can't. I mean, the one thing you and I are probably giving up here is price. Musical America is going to be a shorter price off of his recent form than he probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to remember the Musical America that would remember and beat this field by a long way. But, you know, I'm trying to pick a winner. I didn't find any other. There was nothing too clever in here, I don't think. So I went to the old class horse in Musical America like you did.
Yes, sir. As race number 5 coming up, maiden special weight for the New York bred fillies, 2-year-olds. Not too much longer as 2-year-olds. They are going a mile. We did have some scratches in here. My pick's affected by that, but not yours. As I landed on a first-time starter, which I'm not totally, I scratched into her. But kind of interesting with Mischievous Molly. We'll get to the videos of the horses I've run in a moment. But Mischievous Molly, she sold for $140,000. And she is a daughter of Into Mischief, which that might be a negative. The dam was a munch in 2 starts. If you go back, though, the dam was a 3/4 sister to Adriano, who was a graded stakes winner, albeit on synthetic turf. But what I liked about this horse was his workout.
Okay.
I know it was back in May. And it was interesting because Martin Zareski bred her, but looking at the results, Bond Racing had bought her. So I don't know if he bought her back after the sale. Would you interpret that as a positive?
I think that's the only thing you can think.
But I like she worked 22 flat, which isn't that fast, but still fast enough at Timonium, and really wasn't asked for much. And that last 8th, when she got on the straightaway, really accelerated away quite nicely. I'm not in love with the pick, but I'm not in love with the favorites either in here, Anthony. As, Silver Skillet, she's one that I feel like they need to be aggressive with. There really isn't much of an acceleration. There really isn't a much quickening with her. If they're aggressive with her from that inside post and she gets to the lead, she could win here.
I have to imagine she's laying no worse than second in here. If the Splendid one coming out of the dirt, I mean, the one turf race, they took the Swiss off the pace. Swiss kind of got outrun and then ran on nicely to finish second at a big number. I would imagine she's the speed.
Yes.
If Heeman Harkey wants to go, but I agree. And I think Manny will come out running for Silver Skillet. It boiled down to, I was either going to take the first or Ferlinda. And a couple of those things did not, the 140 bothered me a lot, so I kind of stayed away a little bit. It just ran into Miracle first time out, then Stonewall Star, and then ran in the Maid of the Mist. And
she's supposed to win.
She's supposed to win. And, I tried to keep it a little simpler today because of the wet track. And, again, I wish I had something clever in here. I really
her fastest race came on a track with moisture, and I think looking at her, she looks even more like a sloppy track type of runner. So, like I said, I ended up with Linda's horse on top as a first-time starter. I'm not thrilled with it. I definitely think Silver Skillet should win here because her main competition comes in the form of Miss Fashionista, who's been the beaten favorite in both of her starts for Todd Pletcher. We'll take a look at her finishing second back on November 18th behind a horse who and again, maybe this harkens back to they've been running on the wrong surface the whole time, but Sweetest Princess had good races on the turf.
On the grass, yeah.
And maybe she was just the best horse to begin with because she kind of look at her size. She's a good-looking filly. But it's evident that the fact that she's taken money in both her starts, that she's supposed to have gotten the job done by now.
Yeah, I wonder, too, the wet track I wonder what the wet track does. She did not look that comfortable
Right.
First time. But she was a first-time starter. We'll see. Maybe more ground. And maybe she's just one of these fillies that needed a couple under her belt before she really was able to get going. Well, today will be a litmus test for her a little bit, just to see where they're going to go with her. If she winds up in for a tag at some point. But we'll say I think Silver Skill is supposed to get the job done.
Bit of an interesting way to start the late pick 5. Do you single Silver Skillet, or do you spread around a bit? But we will be back with the late pick 4 after these messages.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Magny, along with you for Friday. As we'll take a look at this late pick 4. Anthony, race number 6, another maiden special weight for the New York bred fillies, but this one for the older ones, and they're going the 6.5 furlongs. And the race really, truly does seem to go through Photon in here, who gets back to a dirt sprint that is the scene of her fastest race. Also, little added bonus, over a sloppy racetrack in which she beat Funny How, who's just been on a tear here at Aqueduct. So Photon, blinkers on. It's go time. I mean, for me, she's just so much the horse to beat.
I believe we're looking at Shinful here.
Yes, this is, okay, we've skipped over a horse. But Shinful is coming out of the race with Voluse as well as Spooky Lady, where Spooky Lady looks to be the speed here again. She tired, first start for Rudy Rodriguez. Shinful, though, comes with a big head of steam down the middle of the racetrack.
You feel like she's going to get there right now and just runs out of real estate. I don't want to say she hung a little bit, but she kind of leveled off just a touch. This will be her first intended dirt race. With that said, I did pick her on top today. I've kind of seen enough of some of the others in here.
You've seen enough of Photon.
I think I've seen enough of Photon.
Okay.
5 seconds from 6 tries.
All right. I okay.
In various ways, on vying for the lead from off the pace and the slop on the turf, going long, going short, going long on the dirt. Yeah, and you could say the presence of Shinful will help Photon's price today. But I do believe Photon will take a bulk of the money. Javier Castellano jumps aboard. She gets a pair of blinkers for a barn that's just not winning right now. So I'm going to try and beat Photon again.
Okay, I hear you. You used a first-time starter from the Danny Gardner barn as well as I in number 1, Bon Adieu. A daughter Ghost Sapper. I mean, talk about, going for less than your
scared me too.
Sire's standing price. Sold for only $25,000, albeit as a weanling. But this is the first foal from an unraced dam, though. The second dam, Grade 1 winning sprinter AC Ducey, who also produced New York bred stakes winner Preaching to the Devil, does have some decent workouts coming in here, too.
Yeah, the old John Morrison mare, AC Ducey, was a fan of hers. Yeah, I just thought, again, kind of sick of Photon. Spooky Lady, I didn't know what to do with Spooky Lady.
If you're not winning a maiden 50 at Los Al for Bob Baffert as the even money favorite, I don't know what you're winning here either.
I don't either. Valsus ran okay last time.
She just is what she is.
She is what she is.
And she's a little bit slower than I think Shinful and Photon
Boy,
are.
her and Photon, how about the money they've burned? Photon's been 3 to 5, 9 to 5, 5 to 2, 4 to 5 in her last 4 starts. Voluse has been 5 to 2, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 5 to 2, 5 to 2.
Yep. I mean, I'm a little interested, actually, in my husband's horse because she was supposed to run October of last year.
That's the 5 Granny's Connection.
Granny's Connection for Jerry O'Dwyer. She was a late scratch that day. And I remember remember Jerry, who is Paul Pompa's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him being in the paddock, we were talking about, because she's a homebred of the late Paul Pompa's. And I actually liked her until I saw her warming up, and I was like, oh, okay. But the dam, she went on all 3 surfaces, and this is her first foal to run. But the second dam was a stakes winner sprinting on the dirt, albeit on a wet track. So I think she's a little bit interesting, because I did like her in the paddock that day. I feel like she was taking some nibbles as well, if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah, just one that I thought was a bit of an outlier in the field.
Okay.
Race number 7, claiming 50 for the 3-year-olds. And you're against Print Track. Why don't you like Print Track?
This is my... If we were to give out a best bet, this would be my strongest opinion of the day. I feel like Charlie Baker got caught stealing one last time with Catching Cupid, and Antonio Arriaga may have gotten him. He was coming off the 2 months, a little over 2 months, and she ran easily the best race of her career. I know the Fig is not as dominant in some. I mean, she ran really, really, really well.
Andy, it's a he.
Oh, hey, Cupid. I see the Cupid. Anyway, Andy.
I don't know if I
One of
trust
these
this
days,
horse.
Alice. One of these days.
I
like the
totally
way
get
this-
what you're saying.
I just feel like, and I know Print Rack's Figs just lay over this field, especially in the sprint races. But I'll tell you, Mags, this horse I do not trust.
Should
I
we go
just
back and
don't
look
trust
at Print
him.
Track
Sure.
versus Funny Joke?
Sure.
All right.
Let's go to the
have that.
videotape, as the great Warner Wolf would say.
So Funny Joke and Print Track did face off, 2 back for Print Track, 3 back for Funny Joke, who is going first off the claim for Rob Atras. And the way Rob's barn's going, especially first off the claim, and this is a past 5 years stat, but first off the claim in dirt sprints, he's 30 for 103. And I don't particularly like this horse either. Funny Joke, but that stat scares me, and the way that the barn's been going has me a bit nervous too. But I just think Print Track, he can control this race if he wants to. He doesn't need the lead. He's gonna be prominent enough. He comes in with the fastest figures. It looks like Michelle Nevins really figured him out, and finishing second, narrowly beaten second last time out at Parks. The 3rd place finisher came back, Expensive Cat, and posted a 78 figure in winning.
Okay. My biggest problem, I think, with Print Rack is the time now between the races. He had almost 2 months between the claim and the race for Michelle Nevin. She did run him on the raise, but truth be told, the difference between the 25 and the 32 straight 3-year-olds is not that big. And then, not only does she wait a month, but she takes his horse out of town. He runs 9 points slower, and now she waits 8 weeks. To me, I don't think. And listen, he's coming off the two of the fastest races of his life, but he's had an awful lot of time between drinks as of late, and he can easily win this race today. But I think he's going to be too short of a price. I do not trust him, and he will beat me today.
Don't you think it's a positive, though, that she waits for the 50 for the straight 3-year-olds?
I think it's a convenience to be able to wait for the 50 for the straight 3-year-olds.
Okay. Because, I have had several days off, but I don't remember this condition going that often.
It doesn't. But
Okay.
there would have been, I'm sure, she was able to get him out of town for the start of 25. I would imagine there was some sort of a starter race she could have ran the horse in 3 months. The fact that she went to Parks kind of bothers me a lot.
Okay. All right.
That's not a move for that barn. If that was Rudy or Linda going to Parks, it wouldn't bother me as much as Michelle Nevin going to Parks.
Okay. I just thought he was faster than
He might
anybody
be.
could control
Hey,
this
you might be.
race.
You might be right. I might look like an idiot when all's said and done. It will not be the first time today. Probably won't be the last time today. We still have
Race
what time
number
is it?
8,
We still got
11.
over
You got a
12 hours
long
left in this
day, my
day.
friend.
Yeah, we still got over 12 hours left in this day. I got
Pulling
plenty of time to make an
races,
idiot
you
of
got the
myself.
show to do. You have
There's
plenty more opportunities to
Plenty
look
of
like an
opportunities
idiot.
to look like an idiot. Don't worry about it. We'll get it
Race
done.
number 8, optional allowance, and going a mile in here. And I mean, for somebody who does pick a lot of favorites often, you are very much against them today. No Jane Gray
Picked
for
against
you.
Bill Mott.
My
Bill
jaw
Mott
was on
and
the
Jose
floor.
Loscano. If I went through combinations of jockeys and trainers, Bill Mott and Jose Loscano would have to be in the top 3 of money made for me in my life.
Yeah.
Very high up there. Bill Mott's probably involved with most. It's probably Bill Mott, Jerry Bailey, Bill Mott, Jose Loscano, Bill Mott, Joel Rosario,
But
with Christoph Joel Rosario lurking. I don't think she wants a mile. And I liked her a little bit last time on the basis of she didn't want a mile.
Okay.
And the truth of the matter is, she might just be what she is, and a horse that's a little bit of an ATM machine. She doesn't really want to win, but she will show up and she will run second or third and she will knock it. I mean, she's winless in 5 tries this year and she's earned 87.8. It's a lot of money to run second and third, 3 seconds, 2/3. She's even money on the morning line, Maggie. And I know, listen, it's to me, and I'm not saying you say it, but I think there's this general chorus of, well, she's going to find a field in the winter at Aqueduct. Let me tell you something. There are some tough races here in the middle of the winter at Aqueduct. And I don't think...
Including the one that she comes out of.
Yeah.
I mean, Beguine, she nearly won the Garland of Roses and was
a
a part of a...
102 buyer number or something.
Right. So, I just don't see a Beguine in here.
Okay. Listen. Maybe she's found the field she gets out of this condition against.
I
don't
understand
think
what
she's
you're
getting
saying.
out of this condition going a mile on this circuit.
Okay. You went to My Sweet Wife, who is certainly the horse that's in form, but
The streaking one. The streaking My Sweet Wife. Yeah. I mean, this horse has run 8 times on the dirt. She's won half of her starts.
against a lot weaker.
Much weaker. I usually stay away from horses leaving the conditioned races, the conditioned claiming races, and she did not find the toughest open field to beat last time.
No,
But she did it pretty easily.
she did.
And that 10 weeks off certainly seems to have done her some good, because she's come back with 2 of the best efforts she's ever run. I mean, easily her 2 best dirt races. She's got a wet track fig in the past of a 78.
So wait a minute. You're saying with the same trainer that you like the time that she's given My Sweet Wife, but you don't like the time that she's given Print Track.
Well, she's run this horse once a month, 3 months straight. The other horse had 7 weeks. Had 7 weeks between starts, and now another 8 weeks between starts. This is a month. I mean, this is where this horse. This is where she belongs.
All
What are you laughing at?
It sounded funny.
I didn't like the time with Print Rack because it's
Print
just
Rack.
Print Rack, whatever his name is. I don't gotta call him. That's Johnny Eyes.
I don't know.
I just feel this horse. She's running it once a month. She's running it where she belongs.
Okay.
I don't know why.
actually a
You're
little
You're a scooch today.
I was a little disappointed Caironi scratched because there's some serious dirt pedigree with that filly.
Yeah, I want to say this isn't the first time she scratched out of
being
a
on
dirt,
a dirt
race.
I can't remember.
But that makes no sense. I mean, if she
It
scratches,
wasn't on the scratch board, but it may have been a time before.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've seen her come out of a dirt race already.
Okay, we done with this race?
I'm done with it. Are you done picking on me?
Race 9, maiden 40 to close it out. 6 furlongs for the New York bred fillies. And we have some drop downs in here. I was really upset about I messed it up. Basiliquent is an incredibly cleverly named horse. By frank conversation means using very few words in conversation.
I am not Basiliquent.
No, neither am I. I opted for the first-time starter in here, and as you pointed out, to me, Safi Joseph probably putting this one on the van with Dr. Blute for tomorrow's Alex M. Robb, but he has great numbers. First-time starters and maiden claiming dirt sprints. He's 11 for 36, 31% with a nearly $3 ROI. And the dam did run her best races on turf, but the half won on the dirt, and I just like the workouts coming in here. I mean, solid work. Tab has been working consistently and consistent times as well. So I went with a terrible name for a filly.
I'd love to know who this is.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know who Joey
Poor
Big Nose
thing.
is. The only Joey I know is the only girl I ever know is Joey Potter from Dawson's Creek, played by
Oh,
the lovely and
yeah.
talented Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
I don't think Joey did not have a big nose.
No, this was they didn't look at the sex of the horse.
Katie Holmes
and-
is no. There's no big nose on Katie Holmes.
Um,
I don't
you
know.
and
Yeah.
Slow Down Summer, who are, I mean, yeah, she gets a class relief, but are we convinced at all that she's a dirt horse?
No, but she didn't get away cleanly last time, and maybe with
Well,
Dylan
see,
now.
And I agree with you because so Rudy, and he gets some horses to win with it, but his go-to is that extension blinker, and she was breaking from the inside, so she couldn't see the other horses to her outside last time, and she was always in an uncomfortable spot. So I can understand forgiving her, but I feel like she's going to be a short price in here, and I just didn't want her at a short price.
Jose Gomez was aboard both Rudy runners. The two followed the Fed and Slow Down Summer last time and jumps on the first that Maggie likes today, Joey Big Nose. I think that's worth noting. Yeah, I'm just hoping Slow Down Summer, one of the droppers like you mentioned, and here goes. Cara Para gets a pair of blinkers. She drops for Linda Rice. Kendrick's back aboard. She cuts back. I think a little less distance is going to certainly help her cause going back to the 3/4. And I'm going to use 4, 5, 9, and 10, the other drop down. I'm a big believer if you're using one drop down in these maiden races, and they all kind of have similar form, you got to kind of use all of them.
Oh,
so.
I much prefer Cara Para.
Yeah.
I mean, her dirt form's not exponentially better than Slow Down Summers, but she's actually shown up. And two, I just like her more as a horse from what I've observed from her in the paddock too. So, yeah, I'm gonna take my stab at a first-time starter for a barn who ships up here in Safi Joseph Jr. That'll do it for us here on Talking Horses. You will be in the booth for the second and
Two
the
and
third.
3. 2 and 3. Yeah, Johnny's gonna have a little lunch, little cake. So
I'm gonna
I'll
go
be
get some cake too.
there. Cake's good.
Good.
Cake weighs about 30 pounds. I was walking around. I was marveling at myself as I ordinarily do. I was walking around with the cake. The cake literally weighs like 35
What
pounds.
flavor is it?
It is yellow cake with chocolate pudding and chocolate whipped cream on top from
Oh.
Oxford Bakery, which is a Queens Liberty Avenue legendary staple in the Ozone Park area. So,
All right.
great
You know
bakery.
this neighborhood better than
I do.
any
Yeah.
of us. Well, as always, if you want to play today's races, make sure you do so with that Naira Bets account. Open one today, and you'll get the $200 deposit match bonus, match 200 when you check in to NairaBets.com. Also, we do have that Pick 6 carryover, which starts in race number 4, almost 25,000 to begin the day. More to come. Interesting sequence as well. A couple of maiden races scattered throughout too. And we also have the middle pick 4, which starts a race earlier in today's third race. And it was not here yesterday, but it's back for the 9 race cards and 10 race cards that you were mentioning, Anthony. And also trifecta bonus Fridays here at the Big A. Earn 10% back when you cash on your trifectas. Make sure you
Opt in.
And
Wow,
Naira-
she let me hit my line this
I
time.
did, at
Nice, Maggie.
NairaBets.com. And you can catch myself, Big A, and Richie and Paula Duca, who's out at Oaklawn Park on America's Day at the Races. We are on FS2 from 2:30 to 5:30 this afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on Talking Horses. And if you see John and Brielle today, make sure you say thank you and wish him the best of luck and enjoyment in retirement. He'll be up in the booth for most of the day, besides this guy in the second and third, but he's coming up next with a reprise of Scratches and Changes.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Hello once again, racing fans, and welcome to Aqueduct. We've got some wind, we've got some rain. The main track is sloppy and sealed, and we've got a pick six carryover. The carryover is $24,322. In today's first race, there are no changes. In the second, scratch the 1A blue paint. Scratch 1A blue paint. Note that the 4 suspended campaign will run with a goggle again. The third race begins the middle pick 4. Note that the 1 hatch is 1 pound over. The fourth race will start the pick 6. And once again, the carryover